So we're back with a gathering of priestesses at the West Coast EcoFeminism Conference 2015 at the Orange County Goddess Temple in Irvine, California. And with us now is Eleanor Rae from New York.
Yes, Bronx, New York.
Yes. And I was listening to you talk a little while ago, and you have a particular mission that it sounds like you are on.
Oh, well, what did you hear me
I heard you
say
talking
is
about
being my mission?
sort of the Save the River.
Oh, well, that's a work that I'm doing right now. I don't know if I would call it a mission, but yes, a lot of my energy right now is devoted to a river that comes into the Bronx and to several cities in Westchester, north of us. And it was judged because of sampling in 1999 as being in the category of the most polluted in the state of New York.
Oh my!
And that was sent to Governor Pataki, who was our governor then, for immediate work, right? And nothing has ever been done. In fact, the last sampling we got, it is even worse rather than better. So yes, we are, there is a group of us. We became a not-for-profit because if you're not, there are problems with getting, money from people. And even though I really would have been very happy not to have done that again, but, sometimes that's the way it is. So that really is where I would say my energy goes right now. That's local, more or less, and
well, act local, think global.
Yeah. No,
so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that phrase. Came out of the 60s, and there's not anything wrong with that. So, I also believe that I heard you talking about some of your scholarship in reference to the divine.
Yes. Well, I did my dissertation for my PhD on the Holy Spirit, and actually in process theology. But I got that at Fordham University at age 50. I celebrated. I celebrated my 50th birthday by finishing my PhD, which I felt good about it.
Oh, well, I think it's fabulous.
And as I was working on my dissertation, I had to deal with the Holy Spirit and the issue of the pronoun. And I had only heard in my tradition, the Holy Spirit was always referred to as He. And so when I started writing, I wrote He. But as I got more and more and more into my dissertation, my experience, a very vivid experience, this is no He, this is She. And I just did a little footnote. I felt I really didn't want to enter within my dissertation into the argument of the feminine divine. I just didn't think that was would make an awful lot of sense. But I did promise myself that when I finished, I would write a book on the Holy Spirit as the feminine divine, which I did, created in her image, which is over here. It looks,
so what's the name of the book?
Created in her image.
All right, fabulous.
Yeah, Models of the Feminine Divine. And I did it with a colleague, Bernice Marie Daly. And it's available here if somebody would like it. And we've tried to really look at the feminine divine, not only within our tradition, which was the Christian, but within the other major religions, Hinduism, which we heard so beautifully today with Lena, and the Jewish, the Hindu, and and Buddhism and so forth and so on. So we really try to address it from all the major religions, at least a little bit. Yeah.
You told me that you started out in the Roman Catholic Church.
Yes.
And as you moved along, it sounds to me like you have come to a new understanding of what it means, the whole concept of in your church, that there is if the Holy Spirit is divine. What is your relationship now with the Roman Catholic Church?
The Roman Catholic Church always has defined the Holy Spirit as divine. I mean,
as feminine.
Yeah, or as feminine.
I'm sorry, I misstated.
Yeah, that's okay. I really don't have a relationship right now
Okay.
with my tradition. And I really don't have a particular relationship with any tradition. I think, frankly, right now I'm very blessed in that I find that as I need things, and I don't mean necessarily material things, but as I really have needs, that my needs get addressed, somehow, that it's just there for me. And so I just feel very, 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 very blessed as far as the divine is concerned. I'm looking here at Mary Magdalene as priestess, and it brings back to me when I was at Fordham. One of my professors was Protestant, and he felt that I had the gift of preaching, and he wanted to put me forth within the Episcopalian Church as a bishop. He thought that once I got my doctorate, he said he thought I would make a fine bishop in the Episcopalian Church. And I don't think I ever really considered it very, very seriously, but I've always had and that was a good opportunity to really make me articulate that was not what I was called to do.
Right.
Now, I think people are. I just do not think that I was, that is my
I have a friend who works for the Episcopalian Church, and she refers to it as the Episcopagan Church.
Oh, really? Well, okay.
So, there's a little, there's a lot of things that go on the Episcopalians are willing to tolerate that are not tolerated by other Christian religions. But today is the Feast of Mary Magdalene.
Oh, well, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, isn't that's beautiful,
Yes.
sitting here with Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, so I know that there's several celebrations going on around the
I'm
country.
sure that they are, yes, because she got a real bum rap.
Yeah.
And there's no evidence in the Bible that she was the adulteress. I mean,
No.
we put that on her. And, when you really go back and read it, that's not there. That's not there. I think there's more evidence that she was the wife of Jesus, and that would have been proper within the Jewish tradition. And I think it's very, very unlikely that Jesus wasn't married.
Yeah, there's a book called Woman with the Alabaster Jar,
Oh, really?
which is very much about Mary Magdalene, and I can't remember the author's name right this minute, even though I know her personally. And but she's written Starbird, Margaret Starbird, and she's written several books on the subject of Mary Magdalene, was one of the early what do you want to call it? Promoters of the idea of her being the wife of Jesus, and I think her original book was written back in the 70s, and she got an enormous amount of flack from the church whenever that came out.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes,
And here, now she's, she's like, well, here's the history. Here's
exactly.
Here's the information. Show me where it isn't that way. So. But it's interesting because, one of the things that I believe truly, and one of the things about a gathering of priestesses is it is not about goddess religion. It's not about Hinduism. It's the idea that we represent the divine here on earth as a priestess. And that it is through us we are able to manifest the divine here on earth. We are the hands, we are the mouth, we are the eyes of God.
So that would be your idea of what it means to be a priestess. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
so by that definition, all of us, all women are priestesses. Or at least all women who are called to serve. So, we may serve in different ways, but we serve, at the behest of the divine. And I think that a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, even the work you're doing with the river, is very much priestess work.
I feel that is too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's, as I said, it's your mission. It's your current mission.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it wasn't your mission earlier. Maybe you didn't want this mission. Frequently, we don't want the missions we're given anyway.
It's funny though, because when before I moved to the Bronx, I lived in Connecticut, in Richfield, and probably a year or two before I moved, I had a very, very vivid dream, and the only parts that I remember it is a spring, and that it was in the northeast, and that was, northeast was like very, very, very vivid, and also the number 8, and which is kind of I don't know, I thought that was kind of a strange little dream, and it never really meant too much to me. But when I discovered the Hutchinson River, it is a stream that comes from a spring, the spring that I saw in the dream, and it is in that direction from where I live, and in the end there were 8 people who found it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So, as I said, divinely sent.
Yeah. I feel that sometimes because it has been, frankly, very, very, very difficult work, and sometimes for many reasons. But then I say, well, as far as I can figure, this is what you were sent to do, so you do it. You do it. Yeah.
So have they tested it at the spring head?
Oh, no, nobody even knows where the spring head is, so we're just beginning to really work on it. We've really done most of our work in the Bronx and then on the river, so when we get, I think I mentioned that the 6 communities, cities, where the river actually flows through, they came to this meeting I just had on Monday, and so I think probably we're going to have a lot more work.
So have they
there.
Underground the river?
In many places they have underground it. And they also have dammed it 3 times, making it into reservoirs. And they just recently put up another huge cement dam. Doesn't even have an outlet, so the river is just being choked to death.
Well, it does change the ecology.
Yes, it does.
So, I mean, as we are here, and most of the people here are very much into animal rights.
Yes.
Whenever you do that to a river, it changes the ecology of the river. I've lived for many years in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
And we've successfully caused them to tear down some dams.
Yes, I know. I belong to American Rivers, and I get all their wonderful news about tearing down dams, and here we are building one. That's wonderful. This is not the way the world is going.
Well, the one on the Elwha was a very old dam, and it had no longer generated any power. I mean, it probably wouldn't generate enough power to run this temple. And but it had a dam that had no access for the salmon to go upriver. And it was an incredibly rich salmon breeding area prior to them damming it, and so it took a long time to get that dam down. And I mean, it was it was more useless than San Onofre down here. So they're also now going to tear down.
Yes, I guess we're doing
$4 billion worth of funds to tear that down. It's like, okay, I think you could use that for something else a little more practical. But anyway, so as we're moving along, what is it that you would like to see? I mean, you've formed this nonprofit. You've now got this, you've got the 6 boroughs. Is it the 6 boroughs?
6 cities, yes.
6 cities. That this river, the Hutchinson. I want to make sure
Hutchinson,
because it sounds very like Hudson.
I know.
Hutchinson River.
About Hutchinson River, named for Anne Hutchinson.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you move forward with this group, what is your goal?
Okay, our goal ultimately is to have a river that is in a condition and greenways also that it really will honor its namesake. It really will be a living memorial to Anne Hutchinson. That is our goal.
But tell us a little bit about Anne then.
Oh, okay. Well, she came over in the early days of the Pilgrims, Puritans in Boston, and I'm terrible, I'm not going to give you the right dates, but those, the very early dates. And she was very much a woman who I guess, really felt that I guess I will use my Christian words, in touch with the Holy Spirit, and she really felt that she understood what the Bible was saying, and so she would, of course, she couldn't preach because that was how the society was, but she started gatherings in her home in the Boston area, and people came, and she often contradicted the pastors and what they said, which didn't stand her in very good stead, I guess, with the powers that be. And she was mother of 16 children, by the way, and a very supportive husband. Very supportive husband. We know very little about him, but it seems that it was a good
prolific
relationship.
husband.
Yes. I know once I talked about it, and some man said, well, she should have said no to him every once in a while. No, you didn't do that in those days. But anyway, she was tried in the Boston area, for heresy, and she eventually was abolished from the colony. And she lived in Rhode Island for a short amount of time, and then her husband died in Rhode Island, and then she moved eventually to the Bronx, right near where I live. And she was massacred by a group of Indians, all of her family with the exception of one child. But I think her experiences with the church are very much like the experiences I've had with the church, and I guess I really relate to her in her faithfulness, that she really feels she was called, and that she was in touch with the Holy Spirit or the divine, or however you want to use it, and she really was faithful to that. Yes.
Well, I think that's a fabulous story. Thank you so much for telling us that story.
Yeah, you're
I mean, it gives great depth and meaning to the resurrection of the Hutchison River.
Yes,
and,
yes it does. Yes.
I presume, since you have a nonprofit organization, some more money would not hurt.
It would not. No,
so tell people where, speak to the camera and tell
Okay.
people where they can send their money if they would like to support the River Foundation. What is the name of it?
Yes, it's the Hutchison River Restoration Project, HRRP, and they can send it to me, Eleanor Rae, care of me, 7 Leeward Lane, Leeward Lane, Bronx, New York, 10464. It would be very much appreciated, and it will be put to very good use. Right now, we're doing our 6th annual cleanup to take all the plastics and all the fishing line that kills all of our animals and all the really poison and debris out of the river, and we'll be doing that in September. And also the big thing that we're working on, there is no public access to the river.
Oh, wow.
None. And we feel very strongly, if you don't know it and if you don't see it and you don't love it, you're not going to take care of it.
So right now there is no public access?
No public access, either in New York City or any of the 6 cities in the Bronx. No public access. So that is our major
so
focus
are there
right now.
houses along this?
Oh, there's everything. We have the 2nd largest wildlife sanctuary in the city of New York.
Oh, really?
We have Co-op City, which is 18,000 people in high-rises.
Yeah.
We have some of the worst junkyards in the world. We have brownfields. We have golf courses. We have 3 dams, and this little tiny river of 8 miles. We have everything. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. You name it, and we have it. And we're part from the ocean. We are brackish because the ocean comes in, so it's back and forth tidal, and then from the source is fresh water. So anything you're interested in, we have in this tiny place. It's really kind of phenomenal.
There's a river in Oregon that I frequently visited called the River Dee, which is the shortest river in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's only about 2 blocks long.
Oh, that is short. Yes, it makes it sound good.
So 8 miles worth of river sounds pretty good compared to that, and that's a very protected river as well. But
really?
They've worked very hard to keep the river part of it protected, because it does have a harbor at the mouth of it. And it was one of the early points where the Oregon settlers would receive supplies would be brought in there by ship.
Okay, so
for
it has big historical
Yeah.
meaning then, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I love the story of Anne and Anne Hutchison, and I love your story, and I really thank you for being here, and thank you for coming all this way.
Oh, you are welcome. You're
And
absolutely welcome.
please keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you so much.
much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.